We're going to turn our attention now to a press conference that's going on here in Boston. Authorities are expected to update the investigation. We're expecting to hear from the FBI special agent in charge, Rick DesLauriers, and possibly Boston's police commissioner, as well as the governor. Let's tune into the press.
Organize a briefing for you with the information that we have. The mayor is here, the members of our congressional delegation, all of the law enforcement leadership. We have several people who want to present to you this morning and take your questions. A couple points I want to mention at the outset. I told you yesterday that the FBI has taken charge of the investigation. Special Agent in charge Rick DesLauriers will speak shortly. It's important to clarify that 2 and only 2 explosive devices were found yesterday. Other parcels, all other parcels in the area of the blast have been examined, but there are no unexploded bombs. There were no unexploded explosive devices found. Over 150 people were injured yesterday in the blast, some gravely. Our thoughts go out to all of those injured and killed, and to their families and friends. I personally want to thank the extraordinary first responders for their just extraordinary work yesterday. Every single one of them, those who were on site and those who got to the site promptly thereafter, performed beautifully, as have the area hospitals. And I've been calling around to the heads of the hospitals personally to thank them as well. It's our hope that tomorrow we will organize an interfaith prayer service to help our community heal. We don't have details on that yet, but we will provide those details when we have them. There is a support center that was opened yesterday in what we call the Castle, opposite the Park Plaza Hotel on Arlington and Stewart Street, I think it is. The mayor and his has provided staff to help people cope with this extraordinary event, and it will be open from 9, I think, until 5 o'clock or beyond this evening. Finally, everyone should expect continued heightened police presence, and everyone should continue personally to be vigilant. The investigation continues, and until it is done, all of those in law enforcement, represented by the leaders here, will be present in force in the area around the blast and throughout the city. And with that, let me turn it over to Mayor Menino.
Thank you, Governor. Yesterday, the terror was brought to the city of Boston. Tragedy was brought to one of our neighborhoods also. This is a close-knit place, the city of Boston. Here we know our neighbors. We grieve for them. We grieve for the little boy who we knew from Dorchester. But also today I want to say we know our heroes also. They're the men and women who wear helmets, who wear the badges, the runners, who helped us yesterday during this time of need. And as we go together on this issue with all the law enforcement officials, we're going to make sure the city pulls together. You know, we got it under control. Let's continue to work together. Let's keep offering a helping hand to individuals who may need it during this very difficult time in our city's history. But I just say to all of you, I've been mayor for 20 years now. I've never seen law enforcement pull together, working together to solve our crime in our city as they have, but also how people pull together. The business community, the neighbors, everyone. This is a tragedy, but Boston's a strong city. We're a city that'll get through this. And like the governor said, we set up a resource center over at the Castle near the Park Plaza Hotel, where staff will be there available to give information to individuals who have been involved in the marathon. It's open from 9 to 5, and the phone number is, let me think of our phone number, 635-5040, I believe. And our hotline at city, no, the number is, wrong number, 617-534-5050. And also the 24-hour hotline that you need information also. That number is 617-635-4500. And over the last several hours, we've received calls from all over the world asking us information about the tragedy and how they can help us. So this is a bad day for Boston, but I think that if you pull together, we'll get through it. We're a strong city. A lot of people willing to work together to make this a better place for all our people. And so as we gather here today with all our officials, let's say Boston will overcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Senator?
Thank you. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The President of the United States has pledged his full support in all efforts both to keep the city safe and to find the person who did this and bring them to justice. We did not have to reach out to the President. The President reached out to us. He called the Governor, he called the Mayor, he called the members of the delegation because the President is actively involved here and responding. On behalf of our congressional delegation, Senator Cowan is here with me and Congressman Lynch and all of the members of our delegation. We want to extend our thanks to the first responders, to the firefighters, to the police officers, to the EMS, to everyone on the scene, including the volunteers who came and helped those in trouble and helped save lives. We also want to thank those from all around the country and all around the world whose prayers and thoughts and offers of help have poured in. We are deeply grateful. As the mayor says, Boston will survive.
Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning. My name is Rick DesLauriers. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Boston Division. I would like to start this morning by thanking the first responders from Boston EMS and Boston Fire Department and the volunteer physicians, nurses, and medical staff from the community who volunteered at the marathon. Their services and heroic actions saved lives yesterday afternoon. We continue to work shoulder to shoulder with our JTTF partners at the Boston Police Department, the Massachusetts State Police, as well as all our other JTTF agencies. Our mission is clear: to bring to justice those responsible for the marathon bombing. The American public wants answers. The citizens of the city of Boston and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts want and deserve answers. This group of dedicated men and women standing before you today pledge to do everything possible to get those answers. This remains a very active investigation. Our ongoing investigation in various locations throughout the area goes on. However, there are no known additional threats. We continue to interview various witnesses and process the crime scene, which could take some time. The citizens of Massachusetts and the city of Boston should expect to see the FBI and its JTTF partners conducting investigative activity in the greater eastern Massachusetts and Boston area. Assistance from the public remains critical in establishing a timeline of events which leads to swift conclusion through due diligence and strong investigative activity. We commend the public, we commend the citizens of Boston and the citizens of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for the information that has been provided to law enforcement so far, and we strongly encourage that assistance to continue. It is paramount to explain the FBI and our JTTF role to a greater extent, the volume of tips we have received, and reiterating the resources we provide. We have received voluminous tips over the last 18 hours since the incident. We have staffed our 1-800-CALL FBI tip line, and we continue to encourage individuals to contact that line with any additional tips. We are bringing additional victim assistance and evidence response team resources from our headquarters components and other field offices to Boston, and they are on site working as we speak, processing evidence at the crime scene. To the extent that the crime scene still plays in Copley perimeter and it continues to be a crime scene, it may be that for several days. The FBI JTTF is logically following up on a variety of leads. You will see us and our law enforcement partners interviewing maybe your neighbor or coworker or even yourself in coming days. We encourage you to please cooperate with law enforcement authorities. The resources the FBI and the JTTF allow for swift action, which we hope will yield quick results. But that does not diminish our diligence and persistence in combing through the high volume of evidence and leads that we are processing right now. We are just beginning upon that path. Thank you very much.
I'm Gene Marquez, Acting Special Agent in Charge, ATF Boston Field Division. At this time, ATF has done a partial NRT, National Response Team activation. We are bringing our explosive specialists here to the scene, and we will be working jointly with the FBI and its partners on the JTTF. We have certified explosive specialists. We have explosives enforcement officers. We have special agent bomb techs, and we have canines that are trained to detect any explosive devices or any residue. At this time, we have approximately 30 forensic specialists en route or on the scene. And to dispel any rumors, there were rumors floating around that there were up to seven devices at one point. That is not true. I think that happened as a result of some suspect packages that were disrupted, but we only have 2 devices that we're aware of, and both of those devices were the ones that involved that did the damage and were involved in the explosives incident. At this time, we are looking for the public's cooperation. We're looking if there's any video, any photographic evidence. If you can please contact the FBI hotline or the city's hotline. We'd like to review any kind of media that you have out there pertaining that might give us additional investigative leads, and we are pursuing those investigative leads at this time. The scene is going to take several days to process. We just ask for your patience as we're working in that area and for your cooperation.
Good morning. I'm United States Attorney Carmen Ortiz. First, I want to extend my condolences to the families of the loved ones who were lost in yesterday's attack on the city of Boston, as well as those that were hurt and may still be fighting for their lives. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to them. What happened yesterday was a terrible tragedy, yet it was amazing to see, as you have heard from my colleagues here, how people just helped one another, ran toward the blast just to assist another person in greater need. People who were just there for those that were hurt and in a dire situation. It was amazing to see how the city of Boston, and people from around the world that were part of yesterday's Boston Marathon helped one another, consoled each other. There are so many moving parts to an investigation such as this, and I can't begin to thank everyone who has been involved: law enforcement, medical professionals, emergency responders, and really just regular citizens who became heroes yesterday. I want to repeat, as I did state it yesterday, this is an active and it's an ongoing investigation. But rest assured that we are bringing all of the necessary resources to assist in this matter, and that we will conduct all that we can with all of our law enforcement partners. I've been in touch with the Attorney General several times, Eric Holder, and he has pledged all of the resources from the department and others on behalf of the federal government to help Boston recover from yesterday. I ask for your patience and your understanding as we continue to pursue leads, to gather evidence, and to get to the bottom of who did this and why. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Ed Davis. I'm a police commissioner for the city of Boston. We are in the process of securing and processing the most complex crime scene that we've dealt with in the history of our department. We are doing that under the direction of the FBI and in partnership with the ATF. We've secured the perimeter with members of the National Guard, and the General is here. I'd like to thank the people who are working closely with us. We've received offers of assistance from Chicago, Los Angeles. Units have responded here from New York City and Baltimore, and we are working very closely with all of our partners on this complex investigation. I want to stress that the area around the crime scene, which was yesterday was 15 blocks, has been reduced to about 12 blocks at this point in time. And we will continue to collapse that crime scene as the facts and circumstances make that available. We want to open up as many streets and get people into their buildings as quickly as we can. We're working diligently on that. But please be patient with us in the time that we need to process the crime scene. We expect that that scene will go for another 2 days anyway, and people should make appropriate plans. Again, I want to stress that any information that you have, any videos or photographs that happened, not just at that scene, but anywhere in the immediate vicinity, could be helpful to this investigation. Our focus is on processing that evidence right now, and we're looking forward to working with our partners to bring the individuals who are responsible for this heinous crime to justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Colonel? Hang on, Dan. We can have Colonel, and then you clean up. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Timothy Albin. I'm the superintendent of the Massachusetts State Police. As I said earlier in one of our briefings, there's really 2 or 3 parts to this investigation. There's the investigative part, which clearly the FBI has taken the lead on, but there's also a logistical and presence component of this.